Welcome in to episode 8 of our Let's Play Civilization 7 series here on the Madish Moose YouTube channel. We are right in the middle of the Antiquity Age, turned 73. We have 4 settlements down now, and this episode really is probably going to focus on creating cities. We've got a need for more cities. We only have our capital right now, so we've got to beef up our ability to start producing things. And make sure that we've got enough cities. We actually have a lot of potential cities based on where we've settled and kind of just the regions. We'll talk through maybe a little bit more about that as we have in the past. But if you need to catch up on all the action leading up to this moment, down in the description below is a link to episode 1 in the series. You can catch up on all of the action leading us here to turn 73 in the Antiquity era of our Let's Play Civilization 7 series. Let's see what the game has for us in store today. Here we are, in our capital city of Axum, 12 strong. I'd love for this to get a little higher. This feels low to me. We don't have a lot of farms in. We already know that. We do have farms that we're going to start placing. And look at these tiles. Look at these tiles. They're beautiful tiles. However, we don't have the sheep up and running yet, and sheep is pretty good. +2 production, +2 happiness. I want to get these sheep up and running. After the sheep, the only thing we'll be focusing on is trying to grab the flat tiles here for our howlets. And those are all of these are going to be farms. So our food is going to go up, our gold is going to go up, our culture is going to go up. We want to get those howlets in. So that's going to be the focus point of Axum the rest of the time. I do want to get these sheep up and running. That's the hope, right? So we got a lot of great tiles we want to work. We want to get our growth up as high as we can. We just got our altar in. We've got hanging gardens. So we actually have a 20% growth rate going on right now in Axum, but we need to have the food kind of match that as well. So we need to start getting some farm tiles up and running as much as we can. But there's some really nice farm tiles that are going to come into play over here. So we want to get those in, hopefully, so we can boost those. And once they're farms, then we'll turn them into howlets, obviously, on the flat tiles. But the farms, I think, will help us with growth. We are about to turn Colo into a city. We are 3 turns away, in fact. We want to grab this jade. I wanted to grab the resources first. We actually could use the camels sometime soon as well, but we'll work towards that afterwards. And then, of course, we need to focus on, again, gold spending has become very difficult for us. We're making 100 gold per turn, which is really nice at this point in the game. Like, I have no problem with the fact that we're making 100 gold per turn. In fact, I think that's probably a very high number at turn 73 in the game for most of the time. Axum specializes in that, but I do feel like we're sitting pretty in that way, but we're also, we pushed a lot of wonders at the beginning. We got them all, right? We got pyramids, we got Petra, and we got hanging gardens in our capital. I mean, that's very, very tricky. If we were probably even 1 or 2 difficulty levels higher than we are, I believe we're playing this game on Viceroy. I don't think we'd be able to pull off all 3 of those. Maybe 2 of them, but definitely not all 3. So hanging gardens in particular, I think typically goes a little bit earlier than what we got it at. Petra is another one that's difficult. Pyramids, actually, I found the AI don't compete for as often. It's very specific as far as placement, right? It has to be on a desert tile adjacent to a navigable river. So that's a very particular tile, and oftentimes the AI will just not have a place to put it, or they just don't prioritize putting it down, so that they take up those tiles with other things. Those are all things that I think we'll learn more about as we kind of get a feel for what the AI builds and why they build it and when. We had a good idea of that, right? In Civ 6, there was a lot of people that had done a lot of research into what's kind of the build order typically for the AI, what do they focus on, which wonders go at approximately what time. I think there's some of that information is starting to come out now, even about Civ 7, but we'll start to kind of figure that out as we go. I also made, I think, what will be a very aggressive decision in the in-between time when I was thinking about this game and the fact that the Grand Canyon is right here and we're playing as Axum. Arguably, the Grand Canyon is probably one of the best wonders to have in a game if you're playing Axum. It gets you +2 science on flat terrain in this settlement, and if you're putting howlets on flat terrain and then getting an extra 2 science on that flat terrain, in addition to all the benefits that you're getting of putting probably the farm, the howlet, because the farm tile, I believe, keeps the warehouse bonuses or something like that. I can't remember. You lose like maybe 1 of the foods or something when you take the farm off for the howl, but you get solid bonuses out of that. Plus, then you're going to get the +2 science on the tile as well. I mean, that's a really nice combo. There's a couple spots we could settle over here. Wasset is in, and Waset's borders are set. He's already 3 away. All of his borders are set on Wasset. So he can't access any of these Grand Canyon tiles. And it's not that we need more than one of them to get what we need to do done, but they're nice tiles. I mean, I wouldn't mind just working them. We could put a settle here and get access to all 4 tiles. But then we'd miss out on this lovely incense. We could put a settle here and still get access to all 4 of these tiles. And there's quite a few flats kind of scattered about in here that we could put some Howlts on. I think there are more flats if we settle down here. There's a lot of rough kind of right here, so we lose out on some rough there. But there's flats kind of scattered around here. We've got these mountains that are kind of breaking it up. So I think if we settle here, we get the right distance from Lollibella, and we get access to both the rubies and this incense. The incense is 10% science, and as we know, my science has been suffering. All my numbers currently are very low. But I think that would be, it's so aggressive. It's such an aggressive play. But what we could do with the Grand Canyon, I think, is so powerful as far as just trying to get some Howlts down, that I think our next settle is going to be out here. I think we're going to push a hyper aggressive line, not only towards Frederick, but also towards our somewhat kind of friend Napoleon, and put a settle in right here if we can. We don't have the settlement cap right now, and we're in fact 14 turns away from getting that settlement cap up. Entertainment gives you a settlement cap, and so we'd get to 5, and then we have a settler that's got like 2 turns left on it over here in Axum, so we can finish that any time and get them kind of in position. I also think that requires that we burn down the village of what is this one called? Savage. And that's going to make Napoleon angry at us. So what was our ally, within like 3 turns, we're going to turn essentially into an enemy very quickly. I'm a little sad about that. I think that the timing on last one was so interesting, because everything would have happened differently. If we would have left our troops up here for 2 more turns before we turned them down to come towards Savage, maybe 2 or 3 more turns, and known that Napoleon was going to declare war on Himiko, I would have joined him as an ally in that war, and we would have just been, all of our time now would just be spent taking out the cities that we want to take out, right? As it is, it doesn't appear that that's what's going to be happening. So the unfortunate truth is we're not at war, and we're stuck down here fighting a battle against an independent power that Napoleon has invested in, and so that's going to end up, biting us as we go, but we're going to burn it down anyway. We also have a problem down here in Shamron. Shamron, we have now double invested in. We had tons of influence that we were just sitting on because we were looking for free peoples to invest in. The biggest problem in this game has been the fact that our 2 scouts died early on, right? We got pushed into a death here, and we died over here as well, getting trapped between the Savage and Shamron armies with a scout, and so we ended up not exploring very much, and that means, we have 3 suzerains, but I was looking for a 4th, and so I eventually decided I would invest in Shamron. We don't have a cultural one yet, and so this would be a good one for us to have. We do have a cultural one. We took Taruga, that's right. We don't have a science one, which was kind of a pain, but we wanted to get another one because we took the getting a free civic one. Anyway, we invested. Then we doubled down and invested again because we thought they were going to get burnt down, which indeed they would be. If we were not standing here with a scout, our scout is sitting on Shamron. Without declaring war on us, they cannot clear our scout out to be able to burn Shamron down. Now, I have it on like a possibility from information that I have that it's possible that Shamron will disappear if I just keep standing here. I don't know if this is still true, but in the past, what has happened if you stand on a free people, on an independent power, and don't burn them down, they are not able to spawn units, and eventually they just despawn off the map. That might be a thing. The problem is, as long as there are units within walking distance of Shamron, I cannot walk off of Shamron because they will step here and burn it down. And all of the influence, 270 influence that I've invested in Shamron will go away, right? We're only this far. We're getting 3 per turn, 8 turns to friendly, 18 turns till city-state status. It's gonna be very tricky. I don't know if we're gonna be able to make this work. If they despawn because we stand on them, it might just be over. If we notice that all their troops have moved away, the convenience is there's a bunch of rough tiles and rivers around this. So if all their troops move away, I can step off and then allow them to spawn a unit to stay alive. The hope is then if that happens, that they would not shoot me and instead shoot them. Then as soon as they die, I step back on. I don't even know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Shamron. So that is where we're at right now. We are currently building a garden to get our food up in Axum because again, we want to grow a little faster. In 3 turns, we're going to turn Colo into a city. We just plan on what we're going to do with the rest of our gold outside of that. I think I actually want to buy a Dow at some point or some keys. I need some fishing keys as well. That could be useful. In fact, maybe what's the cost of a fishing key? Keys are 220. 220 is relatively speaking expensive. Are we getting access to gold anytime soon? We are, but not too soon. So I look at gold because gold is a 20% reduction on building costs, which would be a big deal to get. So I might want to hold off on trying to buy buildings until I get access to the gold, but we're still 2 growths away from that gold. All right, we're gonna next turn it. I'm gonna save the gold for now. I want to buy a Dow, but I also want to get, I would love to buy it down here and then just connect into Taruga right away. That might still be a good play, but we can do that at a different time as well. All right, units are moving. All right. And we come back down to our battle with the Savash people, and we will be able to do some archer shots. Hopefully, I'd love to shoot twice, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Oh, you know what? But if we shot with this guy... Oh, we can't shoot with that guy. Just kidding. There's vegetated. I forgot. Okay. So that goes. This guy's going to step in, and we're going to go ahead and burn Savash down. This is where... So right now, our relationship with Napoleon is at 34. We got minus 30 because we ended the alliance when we didn't join his war against Himiko. And now, he is invested pretty heavily. He's friendly now on this turn, in fact, with the Savash people. And all that investment is about to disappear because we are going to burn down Savash. Now, that is going to give us production. Probably maybe even finish the garden, which is not a bad thing necessarily. So let's go ahead and disperse independent. 100 production to our capital. That is a bunch. It does in fact finish our garden and puts a bunch of turns into that settler, which again, we're not opposed to. I could have put something else in the queue there. That's something to think about is when you're burning down an independent power that is a military independent power, that produces production for you, right? Market-based ones do gold, culture ones do culture, science do science, but militaristic ones do production, which is actually makes them really nice targets for burning down early in the game, because that 100 production into Axum, you can see how much production Axum has, 37 on this tile, right? So we have 37 production there, and that 100 is a huge bonus, right? That's a big deal. So to burn down those, specifically those, the militaristic independent powers, and get that production, pretty big. All the rest of them are worthwhile too if you're deciding to fight with them. But that one in particular, I think, is pretty nice, which why it might be a good idea to, now that we have done this and we check our relationship with Napoleon, which is now not friendly anymore. +4 still, but there's the -30 for dispersing an independent power that was being befriended. So we went from in an alliance with Napoleon to a 4 relationship and completely neutral again. So we lost our only friend. And what we're going to do is we're going to pack up our military. We're going to go heal, probably here in Lalibela, and then drive them, if we can, up here to go take care of the independent power that's hostile with us up here. Because why not? If we get a bonus for burning them down, they're already hostile to us, and we need to explore this area anyway. And a little extra experience for our commander doesn't hurt either, right? So probably grab these guys and move them in that direction shortly here will be our goal. Right now, we'll probably actually just pack up everyone that we can. So we'll just go ahead and assemble the army. We're gonna have to wait to grab these two, but so we'll stay right here after that. So we're just gonna have to sit for a little bit. We're halfway through to the next promotion there. So we want to grab that promotion if we can, right? So these guys will just sit for this turn, and we'll grab the rest of the army, go heal up, and then probably, since we're not planning on going to war anytime soon, probably go hunt other independent powers that could potentially be killed. So here's if this guy moves away, right? These guys are now out of range of Shamron. So if this guy moves away, I might be able to step off. Probably I'd step like over to here so that I'm still in range if they spawn an archer. But if they don't spawn an archer, I can still jump straight back over if that archer then is killed. It's all of that is risky business, but it's kind of how we're gonna have to play it, I think. Okay. Here is our scout that we recruited from Moreau. Finally got stuck here. We got stuck up here. I mean, it's just been, he's been a mess. We want to get him out here to see if we can find any other independent powers we can invest in. If they're friendly with us, we'd love to be able to do that. And I don't want this settler currently. We have 13 turns even before we can complete entertainment. So we'll just keep kind of replacing things. I really would like to get this fishing key in so we can buy boats and or connect this city to our other city in the south that was too far away for a road. So I think I'm going to go ahead and build the fishing key. We could also build a dhow. Oh no, yeah, because we can't build a dhow until we have the fishing key. So let's do fishing key. We're going to do it right here. That's where we're going to have to do it anyway. So we'll queue that up. We might actually, to be honest, based on the production we have available to us, we might actually finish both of these in a turn. If the settler gets finished, that's fine. We'll just go position the settler where we want them and be able to settle as soon as we get that city cap up. We could settle early, but it gives us a hit to our happiness, and our happiness is okay. Like, our happiness is fine. It's not awesome. 33 is pretty good at this point in the game, to be honest, but we take a pretty big hit to that if we go over our settlement cap. Because you get -5 happiness in all settlements if you're over. So -5 in all settlements when you're at 33 takes you down pretty low, and then your next celebration is going to be pretty far away, right? So just things to think about when you're thinking about going over top of your settlement cap. You get that -5 happiness per settlement that you are over the limit. So we have 4 settlements, so we get -5 in all 4 for a total of -20, and then we're only gaining the 13 or whatever per turn instead of 33. It's going to put our celebrations back a substantial amount, right? So we just want to be aware of that. All right, let's move to our next turn. There we go. And oh, the settler went up to 2 turns production. I thought we were on 1 turn on the settler. Well, that's interesting. Because we built another building here. Oh, it was because production from the 100 production was being put towards it still. No, because then it would have finished. I have no idea why that happened. Maybe the production from the 100 production doesn't apply to the second thing in the queue until the turn turns over. That must be true. So it finished the gardens because it was the active build, and then it acted like it was going to put the production towards the settler, which is why it said there was only 1 turn left on the settler, but that remaining production is not automatically applied to the next building in your queue, which is interesting because that means that you don't actually have to preset it like I was talking about. You can just allow it to trigger, and that if you move something in there, it will put that extra production from the event or from the burn that we did into the whatever is in the top part of your queue, whatever's being built at the end of the turn, it looks like, is what gets that production. So that's an interesting fact. Interesting little thing to note. All right, let's grab these guys. We will assemble our army, pack everybody up, and then we will head. Let's go around this way. We will go this way and attempt to get some healing in Lalibela. What's going on over here? Okay, these guys have moved, so this should free me up to make this move, right? I could step off Shamron and see if they'll spawn a unit. So I'm operating on the basis that if they can't spawn units, they will somehow despawn if you stand on them for too long. And you won't even get the bonus of burning them down, right? I don't want to burn them down, but I want them to spawn a unit. So I'm going to step away and then hope that Shamron spawns a unit, and then I'll wait for that unit to die, hopefully, and then I'll step back. They have all ranged units, which is the handy part here. So hopefully they just shoot all their ranged units, and then I can take my scout and step back on Shamron. All of that might fail. If they spawn a unit, kill it, and then step on the tile at the same time, that's game over for us with Shamron. So maybe they'll spawn a few units. I have no idea. All right, let's push the 2. We'll explore once we get maybe down into here. We've got a mountain range blocking us right now anyway, so we probably need to get around here before we use our search feature. and see kind of what's going on over there. Okay, we are now building our settler again, which we actually, again, don't want to do. We want to get the settler out at some point, but we can now build a dhow if we want, and I'm actually not opposed to that at all. We can also start building our howlets, which would be good, and we could build our granary. And I was trying to think of where would I put this granary if I were to build it. I actually couldn't think of like the spot where I would want to put it, because we have our brickyard and our saw pit together right here. So we'd have to be looking for a spot for our granary in some place that's not useful to us. The problem is that every tile is so valuable to us that the granary is not a great build for us at the +1, because we would just be +1 food. We wouldn't get this science or this culture that's on there, because that science and culture would only be true if we were completing a quarter, and specifically this quarter, right, adjacent to our city center. And the city center gets +1 science, +1 culture for every completed quarter, right? So when you have 2 buildings in a district, it becomes a quarter. And your city center gets a bonus of +1 science and +1 culture for every quarter that is around it. So we're getting that from here. We're not getting that from here. So it's saying this is another thing that's, I think, interesting. When you're looking at your gains from a build, it shows you what the best possible tile is, but that tile might not be something you want to do, right? We're saving this spot for another culture building or happiness building because of the adjacencies. The game is saying, well, hey, if you want your best possible granary, you put it on this tile, because you're going to get that +1 science and +1 culture from it. And it makes you think that the granary is better than it actually is. You'd only be getting +1 food out of the granary. We don't even have a single farm down, so the granary is not a good build for us. So I guess we'll just go into constructing howlets, or we could build a dhow. And honestly, we could also build another wonder. I mean, we have options, right? We have options. I think I'm going to build a dhow first. I'd like to get one out. Let's get a dhow out on the water now that we have what we need, and we'll send them down here and try to make a trade route with Taruga. We can also, since we're not at war with Himiko, we're trading, I believe, with Cahokia, but we could go trade with Kanza and Chickasaw as well. Kanza being a coastal one, we could trade with them via a dhow. So I think we should start getting some traders out probably, and that's what we might focus on in Axum here for a little bit. Looks like we are growing in 0 turns. So Axum hit it, but didn't trigger. We're so close to growth that it actually says 0 turns. I mean, let's hit next turn and find out. So we should get the grow city button, right? There it is. Now it reset. But that's fascinating that it happened in that way. The Great Steel. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly. The Great Steel Napoleon has built the Great Steel. I was actually debating building that because I believe that's the Axum's wonder. You get a reduction on costs for building that. I was like, if we could find a spot for it, I'll build it if it's not getting built, right? Well, let's see what happened in Shamron. So here's the problem now. Shamron hasn't spawned a unit, but I actually have to move my scout back to check and see what's happening. I'm actually going to create a lookout tower, because I need to pay attention to any unit that gets within stomping distance of Shamron. I have to be able to make them move back onto the tile, right? To keep them off. So right now, right, we've got river, river, river. So all the river that's around this is going to stop any move towards getting onto Shamron's tile. This, unless it's a scout, and scouts can't burn down anyway. But if it's a Jaguar Warrior, I have to watch for that because I think they actually could burn stuff down. This hopefully, again, the river is nice. Plus there's a rough tile here, so it's tough for people to get to Shamron from a movement perspective. So as long as they're not on a tile directly adjacent to Shamron, like, I'm good, right? So we'll see. We will see how that goes. All right, we are going to Axum, and I really do want this sheep. I know it would be great to take one of these and start getting more howlets down, but I want the resource. We also have access to the cotton. Oh, cotton's actually better than sheep, eh? But this production is better on the sheep. Yeah, I forgot we have access to the cotton down here as well, which would also be really good. I'm going to take the sheep. Man, we got a lot of growth we need to do here. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We're going to focus on growth. We're going to get the city up. We got the gardens are down, right? We got extra food now. We're going to start putting some more stuff. I mean, that got us 1 food. We'll definitely start with farms. We'll start with farms as we go, and then, oh boy. All right, and we got the growth here, so that's going to trigger a whole bunch of stuff for us. So let's grab our jade. Look at this tile. Very nice tile. We're going to put our mine down on that. And we also have camels that we're going to get access to here. So our next two growths in Kalo are going to come out this way and this way. That's where we'll kind of be headed with those. So we'll trend in that direction, and then we can now make Kalo into a city. Let's check our resources. So we have a jade at 15% gold, which actually is pretty good. And we could, what do we got? +4 food in town. So we could sub, yeah, you know what? And we should have subbed this out. We should put this in Lalibela. Lalibela should get this wild game so that it can grow a little faster. Let's do that. So I'm going to move the dyes into Kalo. I'm going to move the wild game because it's +4 food in towns into Lalibela so it can grow a little faster to get out to that gold. And then we're going to put the jade into Axum to get that 15% gold and buff our gold stuff up a little bit more. We lost some food here, which again, we were just talking about needing more food, but we're going to get Lalibela growing a little bit faster as well, which I think is going to be a good thing. We're also, again, the llamas are not doing much for us because we need to get Ohatu connected to our place. All right, so we have 913 gold, tons of gold. Let's take a quick look at look, Frederick is still hostile to us, so I'm just like, where are his units? We don't see any of his units. Let's do this really quick. I'm gonna go all the way. Can I do that? How can I make it all the way there? This is a cliff, is it not? I can't make it there. Oh, and there's a river right here. Okay, perfect. Well, we're just gonna jump on river. Okay, so we can't see anything down there. Let's take a look down here really quick. Okay, everything's still fine here, although we already knew that, right? One turn on the Dow, and then we are good to expand Kalo into a city. 300 is the cost down here. You can't see the cost, but it's 300, which is not bad. It started out at, what, 450, right? We kept on building more districts in there. Those all decreased the cost of it. I believe it was decreasing by 50 each time, which is pretty nice. I don't know if that continues to happen until it's free. I don't think that's how it works, but there's some sort of reduction on the cost to convert into a city the more districts you have in said city. So to a point, like, it's nice to invest a little bit to get it to where you want it to go, and then you can move on from there. So we are going to convert this into a city. So our first town that we are converting into a city is going to be Kalo. Again, we waited until we had the majority of resources that we were looking for before we turned it into a city, because we wanted to get as much growth as possible, take advantage of that 50% growth that you get from an unassigned town, effectively. You can obviously assign a different focuses to towns. We'll talk about that when we actually go and do it. For now, let's convert it to a city. There we go. Permanently upgrade our town to a city, I am sure. I'm glad that they confirmed that, though. And now, what you'll notice is we have another production queue. In towns, you cannot produce anything. You only can buy things. Now that Kalo is a city, you can see we can now build the barracks. We can build the monument. We can build the library. We can build the garden. So buildings that you could not otherwise buy, you can now buy. Now, there is a particular city, there is a particular town specialization called Urban Center that will allow you to buy in the first level buildings like your monument and library, but you can't build in the second level buildings for each of the different types of resources, right? So just something to think about. The Urban Center is a powerful addition to the game ever since they made that change a couple patches ago. The Urban Center town specialization is really nice. We have another city, and that is great for us. Now, I think our first objective probably needs to be getting a science building down. There's two ways to go here, right? If we build a barracks, that gets me +4 production, so then I can build my library faster. But then I have to wait the 11 turns to get the barracks down. I have to wait and not get the science for those turns. It's really tempting, actually, just to build the barracks to get our production up. Our brickyard also would get us a whole bunch, which would be good. Ooh, we should probably buy that brickyard in. We have a lot of gold left over. Okay, I'm gonna sell out on this idea. I'm gonna go barracks into this spot here, right? We have double adjacency. There's our first double adjacency. I'm gonna go barracks here. That's going to replace the farm, and now we'll get to place that farm someplace else now. And I'm actually going to purchase, and we should have just done, since we knew we were going to do this, we should have done it before and tried to reduce the cost again. The brickyard at 4 and only costing 220 is a pretty good deal. I think I'm going to put that right here on top of the granary. So I'm going to go brickyard onto the granary. That's going to get us 4 more production, which will actually increase the time, right? We went from 11 to 7 turns on the barracks. So then the barracks will drop in, getting that extra production, and then we'll go into a library on this tile over here, with, again, taking advantage of that double adjacency that we have. So we get to grow our city again because we replaced when you replace a rural district with an urban one, it displaces the rural population. And so that rural population now has to find a new place to go and do its work. So we're going to come down here. I want to get access to this camels sooner rather than later. So we're going to go ahead and push in that direction. I'm going to grab this tile for the fishes. It gets us food, so it keeps us growing anyway. And then we'll be able to grab the camels with our next growth. We also have fish over here that we can go out to. We're not going to grow in that direction probably because we're going to put our food and gold buildings down here and here respectively. And so then once we do that, we can grab the fish towards the end as well. So now we have 393 gold remaining. That makes me want to come. So we got this in, right? We have a fishing key here. So we can buy our fishing key here, which will connect everything up, which is kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to go fishing key. That buys that in, and that should connect us, right? So now we have a fishing key here and a fishing key in our capital up on the top of the river. That should allow those two to be connected if the distance is not too great. Let's see. It connected it in. So that is really good news for us because now, remember, Ohatu's resources were stuck in Ohatu. And so now we have access to this tin. We have access to these rubies, all of which are potentially very good for our other cities, right? So we can also get the llamas placed somewhere, which is a good thing. That will increase our happiness and our production. So let's go. Now we also want to split some things into Colo, right? Our capital, yes, we want to be building stuff out of, but we probably want to put some rubies in there, and we might even be able to pull some of this wool. Oh, in fact, we want to pull the kaolin. We're going to pull the kaolin into Colo because the kaolin is +2 food to the capital, but +4 food in any other city. So the kaolin we want to put in our first other city, right? Colo. That's going to get us +4 food instead of the +2. Now we're costing our capital a lot of food. We can actually see 25 food now in Cologne, like 15 in Axum. So we really need to fix that problem from a food standpoint. So we probably want to look for other ways to get them some food. We'll have to figure that out as we go. But we can get extra production in one of our cities if we want. We get 4 production in towns. But remember, production translates directly to gold. I'm not opposed to that. But the rubies, I think, is the one we want to switch up here. And why do we want to do that? Because we have a 15% gold bonus. So we're getting 15% on the 4, right? So the more gold we produce here, the more it's going to apply to that 15%. And that really is what our capital is going to become. Is it has the silk for culture, it has the jade for gold, and eventually, hopefully, some incense, right? That increases it 10% science. So our capital then becomes kind of hopefully it's producing the most of all of the resources, so then we can double up on percentages or use percentage-based increases to further our capital city. This food amount is pitiful, though. We're going to have to fix that sooner rather than later. We've obviously removed both of our food things that we had in there just because of it just feels better in other places. We'll have to try to rectify that as we kind of move along. I'm going to keep this in a town for the extra gold, although it feels bad. We could probably put it in Colo. What I'll do is I'll put the llamas in Colo. That gets us a Silk Roads milestone, so that feels pretty good. That means that we have enough resources assigned to cities to move us along on the tree from an economic perspective. So we have to get 20 resources assigned into settlements. It's not cities, it's actually just settlements. So, but that gets us that last. We were sitting at whatever this is. This must be the 15 marker, right? So we were sitting at 14 for a while because that llamas we couldn't assign anywhere. So now that we've assigned it, we've moved ourselves through the economic tree in that way, which is good. If we check the rankings, we actually are the first to move through that, and so we actually caused the age to progress, right? So if we look at our legacy paths, when you hit each of the milestone markers, you cause the age to progress. This goes, I think, what, five age progress points are here. This is 5 age progress points, and the last one is 10 age progress points, I believe. Yeah, 10. So it actually says down at the very bottom here, 5, 5, and 10 age progression. And that age progression, remember, contributes to this percentage over here in the top. Every turn, you move 1 step closer. So the antiquity age will end at 200 progress, right? We're at 91 of the 200 progress. So it's not per turn. Every turn, you get a point towards age progression. So we're at 91 right now. On the next turn, it will go to 92 automatically. It goes up by 1 every turn. And then the other way that it goes up is if anyone finishes any of these milestones on the culture, military science, or economic age progress pieces. If any of those get completed, it goes up by the respective 5 or 10 if it's the final one, which causes the age to continue to progress. Once it hits 100, then the age will end and we will move to the exploration age. So that's how the age progression system works in a nutshell. We'll get into the nuances of it as we get closer to the end of the age. We also have to worry about the crisis system, right? At 70%, I believe. At 70% of age progression, the crisis will trigger. There's, I think, 3 different crises that can potentially happen in each different age, 3 or 4. And one of those will trigger when we hit 70% on this. So you kind of want to be prepped and ready for possible crises by the time you get right around there. But again, that percentage can jump really quickly if somebody finishes one of those things on those particular trees, right, on those axes towards age progress. The other big way to affect that is if you, and we talked about this already, but if you eliminate a player from the game, if you take all their cities, or that will eliminate them, that increases, I believe it's 20. I think it's 20 age progress points if you eliminate somebody, which is a pretty big number. I mean, that's double what it is at the end of each of those trees. So that causes the age to progress very rapidly if you start to eliminate someone from the game. So just something to think about if you're thinking about eliminating. Just know your age is going to end substantially faster if you choose to eliminate somebody. All right, we're keeping an eye on Shamron down here. These guys need to just jump up into our territory and heal. The fastest way there is probably just by sitting here in Lollibella. Let's just sit right here. We will sit and heal. We'll rest everyone until fully healed. Once we are rested, we're going to make our way up here and hopefully just go fight more free peoples. That's going to be the goal. And we're going to take a look down here, and we're going to make sure Shamron stays alive. Hopefully, maybe. There is a unit, so that's perfect. That unit probably won't attack me, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and back off anyway and just set up a lookout here. That again gives me just the viewpoint I need, and we'll be able to see how Shamron is doing. This spearman will not leave the village. At least they typically don't, to my knowledge. They will sit there with the spearman unit and defend their tile. If it's an archer, obviously it will probably shoot out. So it's nice that it wasn't an archer. So that's a step of good luck for us in that regard. We also could have come back down and killed this scout, I guess, but I don't know. He's not doing anything. This volcano has erupted, so probably, again, good thing our scout didn't get trapped over there. Napoleon has completed a Silk Roads milestone. And our Dao is ready to rock and roll. I might just send this Dao up here into Kanza and just grab access to what they have really quickly. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I don't want to declare war. Oh, I can't. Unless I'm allied, I probably can't. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they can create trade routes. They can only create trade routes with people if you have open borders, I would assume, right? So we would have to get open borders with Himiko in order for the Dao to make the trade route. So that's one of the catches with the Dao. So we'll play with that here in a second. Let's move 1 and go ahead and do a search. Just get an idea for what's going on over here. So, some interesting. So Chichen Itza and Waset will border each other. And there's a cliff right there. So we're going to need open borders with somebody, even just to get our settler, our scout through here as well. Oh man, this map has become very difficult to explore very quickly, just because of placement. Look at this land in the middle though. There's a lot of land right here, which I think is why we're going to push a settle in this direction, right? I feel like that's going to be a good thing for us. Okay, let's go back into Axum. We can now start building Howelts, which I think we're going to do. We could also build like another army commander. Wouldn't be a bad idea to take another army commander up and get like some levels out of him. We also could potentially build one of these. I don't know. I want to get some Howelts down. I'm going to put a Howelt here. I am, interestingly enough, I am not going to put a Howelt here. You might ask, well, why? That is because we are planning on moving up and taking the Songhai. The Songhai get access to a unique improvement called the Caravanassery, and the Caravanassery gets adjacency from resources and from navigable rivers. So this right here is actually a +4 gold Caravanassery. That's a lot. That's some serious future planning, but this tile is one of the best Caravanasseries you could probably honestly possibly place in the game. There's probably other +4s and +5s you could probably get, but +4 is a really nice Caravanassery. So we're gonna get some major gold out of this tile in the future, but not till we move up as the Songhai. Now I believe I could put a Howelt here for now and then replace the Howelt with a Caravanassery, but we might as well focus on getting those Howelts down in other places first as we go. I also should have paid attention when we put this down how that changed our resources, because I think all it did is add the gold, right? It doesn't take away any of your existing stuff that you have, I think. So we'll see as we go. 289 gold, 117 influence. That 117 influence, oh man, we're not going to see anything over here, I guess, right? So we can take this guy, move him over here, do the search feature just to see. And then if we want open borders, we could try to invest in open borders, or we could just scoot him back around this way and go back to exploring down here. All of these are possibilities for us. So I think I'll hold on my influence, and our gold at 289 puts us in an interesting spot. I think we hold on that and attempt to get an altar at some point. I'd like to get an altar. They're expensive, but I want to buy an altar in Lalibela, and I want to buy an altar in Ohatu. And in Kalo, technically, I'd like to get my altars in to get that 10%. Because remember, our Pantheon is 10% growth, and we might as well start taking advantage of that at some point, right? So I think that's what I'm saving my gold for right now, because I feel like that would be a good use of our gold. Let's hit that next turn button. Those flaming arrows just massacring Napoleon's troops, and that's what we will have to deal with if we choose to go to war with Himiko. Is we would have to deal with the burning arrows. Those things are wildly effective. They set fire to the tiles that they shoot, and then those tiles do damage over time when they're on fire. Brutally effective. All right, Himiko is completed a Silk Milestone as well. We get a narrative choice. Direct from Wuchate Golo. The people have one final time. The people heave one final time. The Howelt swings upright. For a moment, it shivers and then settles into its platform, a symbol of power and prosperity. Common people bear bread and beer to the shade while the army gathers for the steel's sacred dedication. So we have made our first Howelt, and our people will be celebrating. We can get 50 happiness towards the next celebration. We're at 40 happiness per turn, so that's not like crazy good. 25 culture, though, is a full turn's worth of culture. 50, the happiness is still valuable, but the culture is just so much more potent for us. So let's grab that. That's going to reduce our turns to entertainment by a turn, which is actually great because, again, when we get this settler back out over here, we want to be able to, we need to get that settlement increase there, right? We've got troops galore over here. I mean, is he actually going to send this army all the way up here? Is that his plan? Just go to war with Frederick. New idea. Just go to war with Frederick, man. I'm going to walk over here and use my search ability, I think. That's what that scout's going to do. All right, this is still just a scout, so we don't really care that that's a scout right there. So we're just going to hang out and let Shamron do its thing. We are working on a settler here now. Again, I don't need to work that. This howl would get us some good things. We don't actually have anything else to do. Tempting to get a new army commander. It's tempting to just build another wonder since no one is building them. Where would we put another wonder? Right here, actually, is a really good spot for a wonder, but we don't have access to that tile until we build something here, which we were going to put our happiness building there, which we are 8 turns away from, right? Because this gets us... No, entertainment doesn't get us access to that. When are we going to get access to our happiness building? We need to get access to our villa. The villa we get access to at the wheel. So after we get access to currency, I think we need to go to the wheel to get access to that villa. The villa will be placed right here and then open up a possible wonder location for us right here, which I do like the idea of potentially going for. Otherwise, I don't know what wonder we'd currently build here. So Axum, I think, probably should just build a merchant, if I'm being really honest. That second army commander is tempting, but let's go merchant. We'll get that settler out soon too, right? We're 8 turns away. It's going to take a little bit to walk to where we want it to go. So we could get that settler out sooner rather than later so we can make that settle as quickly as we can. So we'll go merchant, probably finish the settler, and then keep moving from there. I think that'll be the play. Okay. All right, they're starting to attack Shamron now, so I do have to be aware. Oh, that guy, that blocks me. That would be very bad. If this scout stays here, I could get blocked by this scout and not be able to get back to this tile. So he's getting shot, it looks like by a slinger because it's not doing much damage to him. So hopefully that continues to be the case and they just keep firing a slinger at him. And then we can just kind of sit on that, right? We had a river flood. Oh, actually damaged some of our stuff. So we have to come to our capital. The river has damaged our garden, it looks like. We're gonna come over to our Axum capital. We're gonna have to repair that garden. We're gonna purchase. I like to purchase repairs. That is an 88 gold repair. That is very spendy. Ouch. Oh. That is very spendy. I don't love it. Himiko has changed my relationship. Is it good or bad? I am assuming a little bit of good, potentially. We're all over the place with Himiko. All right, we grow our town. We're growing Ohuatu, and Ohuatu is going after these llamas, right? That was our next grow point. So let's go ahead and grab these flat tropicals. We have to go around the mountain to get to them, which is kind of a pain. But they're flat, right? So we'll end up putting howlets on them probably. So that doesn't bother me too much. Oh, we could go this way. This is a nice tile, actually. We should go this way. We'll go through the water. We'll go through the water to get to them. That's a better plan. Yeah, let's take this. It's a really nice little boost of food, right? So we grab both of these for the fish, and then we'll grab the tile. That's smart. We also have a really nice aquatic reef. Anytime you see a reef that has the production on it, very nice to grab those reef tiles as well. All right, let's push over here. Ah, they already are bordering, and look at these tiles. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna sit here and then run the search function on the next turn just to see what we can see. And then I guess we're swinging all the way around to the south with this guy. Our army's gonna head this direction shortly. They are not quite healed up yet, so we're just gonna continue to have them do that. We are producing the merchant, and we have 433 gold. And so the question becomes, should we buy an altar? And I think the answer is yes. I don't see any pressure from troops coming anywhere, so I feel okay about spending the money. I'm gonna go ahead and buy an altar in Lalibela. And you might say, why are you buying it in Lalibela and not in Colo? Well, Colo can build theirs if we need them to, and we also don't have to have them growing super speedy anymore. We want to get this to a city, and we want to get to this gold as quickly as we can so we can buy in buildings on the cheap, right? So we're actually investing in buying a building before we invest in the thing that can actually make us be able to buy buildings cheaper. That's the play here in Lalibela, in using the gold there instead of elsewhere. So, all right. Next turn. Let's see what's happening here. They healed and did not get shot, so that's good news for us. For the Shamron people, they did not get shot again, by whoever was shooting at them. They just shot and then healed twice and didn't take another hit. All right, these guys are not quite healed. I'm gonna hit them on the heal button again. Here is our merchant, and we can go. Oh yeah, we need to increase our trade rate capacity if we're going there. That's probably why our Dow can't do anything in that direction, right? Either way, Moreau has incense, so we need to trade with Moreau post haste. That'd actually be our best trade. Let's get to Moreau with this. So we'll just you could click him there, or you could just click on Moreau and then press send merchant. He will then pick the fastest path to get to a tile within Moreau's space and go and make that. He'll be there, and then you'll have to make the trade route once he gets there. But I want access to that incense for sure. That'd be very good for us. So that's good. We also need to think about if we want to get this trade route in with this Dow. I guess we have to become friends almost. We have to improve trade relations when we get there, and potentially open borders. Ooh, all right. I'm gonna run the search. Oh man, his border runs forever over here. Okay. This scout is now gonna have to go all the way around and see what the heck is down here. So we'll make that trek here shortly. It looks like Shamron is still good, and we're gonna produce that settler and then try to get that settler out to the location here quickly. Our Dow is also moving, don't forget, up towards Himiko's territory, so this is something we need to think about. Shamron is friendly with me now, so we are making progress. Shamron got shot again, so they got shot. So they took a turn off from shooting Shamron to shoot it again. Keeping an eye on that. Here's our growth. That's gonna get us, oh gosh, I guess we take, let's just take this one. Let's take that one. We get gold on the next growth, and then Lalibela will be ready to potentially form a city. Currently, Lalibela costs 650 to convert to a city. That price goes up as you go on. We'll probably be buying some different things there to help that cost go down a little bit. Axum is done producing our settler. And so we could grab one more merchant because we can trade with Tyre, and Tyre has access to 2 different things as well. So let's grab at minimum one more merchant, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do in Axum after that. This settler is going to make its way, and I want to say it was this tile right here, I think is the one I wanted. I thought about doing this one, but it's too close to Lalibela, and it doesn't get us access to the quarry here for the limestone, which is nice, and it doesn't get us access to the incense. So I think I'm going to do this tile right here, which is a hyper-aggressive push. I mean, that is very aggressive. We're double aggressive settling into a space super far away from everywhere else that we're doing. I mean, we're making inroads deep into the continent at this point, but I think it's going to be worth it. We might have to train up a second army, potentially, to help defend that as well. So we'll have to think about that as we go. Okay. Next turn, we're at 307. Now we've got, so now there's archers. Now it's not just slingers. Now it's archers that are shooting Shamron. So they're taking some pretty heavy damage. So we need to keep a close eye on what's happening with them. How close are we? 4 turns from the gift and 9 turns from the suzerainty. Oh, it's getting close. Ada Lovelace relationship has changed. We're at +5. So I think that's good. I think we went positive. All right, this guy is, I think I'm just going to tell him to go to this. We'll go 6 to this tile. Just have him move out in that direction. I hope he doesn't run into any enemy units, probably. We got one more merchant coming out. We are about to finish our barracks over there. That will free up a lot of space. And we have 625 gold, which again, if we look for units, we don't see any. I'd love to go down to Ohuatu and go ahead and grab my altar here to increase our growth. We now have access to potentially making Bulgaria because we have 3 altars. So that's how you get access to Bulgaria. And Ohuatu now has their altar down. So Kolo is the only one without an altar now for that growth purposes. So we'll keep progressing that. Let's grab another turn here. Keeping an eye on Shamron. Oh, wait, we had a unit that needs to be commanded. Oh, our Dow reached up here. Okay, now we can't... Wait, can I actually do this? It says I can move here, but I think that that's a misnomer. Let's go up here. I'm going to improve trade relations. Now can I do a trade route? Yeah, Kanza. But I can't do this unless I get open borders. So I also have to ask for open borders. And it's rejected. So unless I get a merchant, I can't trade with Kanza. So all of that was for naught. I just burned a ton of influence to do nothing. Now, merchants can pass through borders of people, but this is a warship. And so in order to establish a trade route with someone, I have to have access to their territory, and I cannot do so. That is a bummer. All right, so I guess we'll start moving this guy towards Taruga, because Taruga we can make a trade route with. Oh, well, no open borders for us, I guess. We'll go to our next turn. Shamron is healing, and they are no longer shooting Shamron again, so good news for us. They just, like, shoot it every once in a while. They don't shoot it every turn. All right, so I'm just going to take my Dow and tell it to come here. It's going to take a bunch of turns, but we're going to go make that trade route with Taruga. We've got another merchant, this merchant here. We're going to send to... well, I guess we have to... We could... Now that we've invested, we should probably send up to Chickasaw or Kanza. But Taruga is more valuable, though. I would go Taruga first. Or, sorry, Tyre. Because Taruga we're going to do via other methods. So, yeah, let's go Tyre first. We actually need I need to get another merchant now to take advantage of the fact that we invested in increasing that, right? So, that's probably what we'll do in Axum, right? Axum will just make one more merchant. Our barracks is done in Kalo. And that means that we can get to our library now. And now you notice our library is only a 5-turn build, which is pretty nice. So that's not a bad thing for us. So we'll go library. We're gonna put the library over here next to this mountain. Technically, it's a nice mountain adjacency, but we do have one more mountain over here. So we can get to this mountain and put down like our culture buildings. Maybe our happiness buildings are not going to have a great place to go here because there's just not enough mountains. But we'll get happiness from other sources, hopefully. So let's get that library down. We need to get our science up and running. We also we technically need to get our culture going too. So we could have put a culture building there, but the double adjacency on the resources only happens in the city in that spot. So kind of the best spot that we have to do those. We have a trade opportunity. Oh, yes. In Chickasaw. I agree that that's probably a good idea. Let's do one more turn. Uh-oh. This is... So now they are actually threatening Shamron. So if this guy moves onto one of these two tiles, we have to be prepped and ready to get our scout back in here. This is not the unit that shot, right? There's a unit sitting here or here that shot this spearman. And then this unit now can double shoot. So this unit will probably die on the next turn. And then if any unit of theirs gets into this space, I have to be able to run my scout over. My hope is that they actually kill the unit fast so that I can jump on there really quick and then they'll get bored and move away again. That's my only hope, right? It's my only hope. All right, our units are healed. Our army is healed. What is this? Is he actually going to go attack? How fascinating. I think he actually is. He's apparently sending units to go fight Himiko. I guess we should keep an eye on that. I am going to start moving my army up towards here. I want to go get the kill up here. So I'm going to start moving my army in that direction. We're going to keep an eye on... No, this is Napoleon, so he's not hostile with me yet. Frederick is. If these were Frederick's troops, we would stick around. But I think we have the ability to get out of here. All right, we can get our trade established with Moreau. So we'll go ahead and press the Make Trade Route button. That will make a road between Lalibela and Moreau, which actually would have helped our army move faster, so we probably should have done that first. We got a narrative choice. Economic attribute. Wealth flows through land like a river, offering up priceless nourishment. Economic security. So we probably triggered that either off of wealth that we're making per turn or on creating trade routes. So we now have an economic attribute point to spend, which is nice. We go to the economics. That will get us +1 gold per age on palace and city halls, so that'll be 4 gold right away for us. We'll go ahead and click that in. It's nice. So we now have 1 in cultural, 1 in economic, and 1 in expansionist that we have earned so far. So that's not bad. The Golden Path. A trader stops in front of a merchant's stall, tempted by the samples of a crystalline material. The spice is briny and sharp on the tongue. Salt from Axum, the merchant says. If you have wares to sell, they are the kingdom to trade with. So that is what, that's another thing with Axum that we triggered. So we triggered Axum. I think we also then triggered an Amina thing. So remember, your Civ and your leader will both trigger things for you. So there we go. We get a codex for that. So that's really nice. That actually gets us a great library progress, which is pretty decent. So we go over to science. We actually finally got to this. We're not first in that, although I think we're tied now. Yeah, we're tied for first in that. That will up our science though, right? +2 science for having another codex. So that's not bad at all. I believe we had one last spot to put that, right? So the other thing to think about is with codexes, you have to have spots to put them in. We only have the palace and the library in Axum. We're building another library though, right now, 4 turns. So that'll get taken care of as well. And we have more resources to move around. I want this science in our capital. So we're going to have to move our wool out. And we'll put the wool in Colo. And we'll put the incense here. Has to go in a city, right? And then we have some dates, which get us +2 food, +2 happiness. We'd love... I'd love to put that in Axum. And actually, we don't need the wool. We don't need the production right now in Axum. So I think I'll pull the wool out. I'm actually going to take the... I'm going to take this. I'm going to move it into Uhatu. I'm going to take the wool and put it into Colo. I'm going to put these dates into Axum to get that food into Axum, to get a little bit more, just a little bit more food into Axum, with a little more production into Colo so that they can build stuff a little faster. That feels pretty good. That will also take us to the end of our episode for today. Thank you all so much for watching. More Civilization 7 next week on the channel. We will continue this game. If you like the content, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when we release these videos. I will see you next week.